Alright, welcome to part 2 of the Ratchet and Clank 3 Boxxy tutorial series. So, I'm just going to get straight into this first Boxxy, Veldin Boxxy. I'm not really going to explain the basics of Boxxies. I'm just going to explain that this video specifically covers ones where you will suck up the box, and then you're going to get like a shape, and you have to adapt to that shape, and that's how you do the Boxxy. So right here, boom. So yeah, that's the kind of boxy you're going to be seeing, and there's going to be a lot of them in this video, so yeah. First, let me kind of explain how this type of boxy works, I guess. So, first I should explain that depending on the save file you're using, whether it's like a community-made one or one that you make by yourself, the boxes that you have to use might be a little different. So if you're trying to suck up a box and you're not getting the same like shapes that I'm getting, try sucking up a different box. Chances are it'll work. So on this file, for example, this box and this box will have the same shapes. The other two won't though. This one is a little funky though, so I don't really like using it. But anyways, yeah, let's get back to the main part. So first, N60 out. That's what you want before the suck in. Lock strafe is what you definitely want. Like everyone plays in this. So for this boxy, so suck up this box, and now you're gonna stop it. You can either be in, like, you don't have to be in like the zoomed in mode to do this. Anyway, so suck it up. And now to start kind of recognizing the shapes that you can get, because there's plenty of different shapes that you can use and adapt to. So how do you know which, like, what to do for any given shape? Well, it's easy. So this side of the box is important, and it's actually going to be important for a few other boxies as well. So right now, I'd say this is too early in the cycle. Notice how there are these 4 lines on the back of the box. Maybe this will work. I don't think it will, but I'll try anyways. You are going to use these lines for your visual cue for not just this boxy, but a few others. Also, this probably would work. I'm not going to like fucking test it. So let's frame advance to a later shape. Now here we go. So once again, you see these lines. Look to the left of these lines. That's usually what you want. So right here, if I look at where the lines are pointing, I might end up over like in this area, which is not gonna spawn me to the second section of the level. So if I look to the left though, I will get launched to like the general area I want to go to. Also, there's gonna be a single jump. If you want to know the timing of the jump of when to swap back, right when Ratchet's about to start losing height. So right about here, maybe a little sooner. Also, I'm going to do this because that's where my menu would be, and it's what I'm used to. So this shape, you can also look to the left of the lines. Now, I will say not every shape is kind of like this though, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, let's do it with this box. Let's look to the left. I have no idea why that failed, but that's why I don't use that box. Let's try and go for a later shape. Now this one is a little bit of a riskier one, but I can probably still make it with my setup. Now here's the thing though, I'm actually not going to look to the left of this one. This one will launch me into the dropship. Okay, so I might need to move a little left, but otherwise, yeah. That dropship is basically where you want to end up on. I think, like, hold on, wait, before I finish that sentence. I think, yeah, this one's the one. So as you can see, it's starting to get to a point where now, like, it's getting close to becoming, like, flat again. Flat as in, like, you know, there's no, like, it's not slanted. That's what we mean when we say flat, although you could probably infer that for yourself. So as you saw earlier, there was that shape where I didn't actually need to look to the left, and there was a chance that if I did look to the left, the box wouldn't launch me at all. So for this one, I'm once again going to look where the lines point rather than, like, look to the left of it. And yeah, you can see there's 2 dropships. I'm specifically talking about the one on the left. The left dropship. Don't worry about the one on the right. Just ignore it. I fluked out on that one. Oh yeah, I should also mention this box is used in New Game Plus category. So if you're not learning New Game Plus, don't worry about this one. I forgot to mention that I'm supposed to say what categories each box is used for. So, why am I being so simplistic with my explanations, you might wonder? Well, for one, because I know you're still going to have to practice this on your own to really get it. Just watching the tutorial is not going to be enough. but also because the whole point of this tutorial series is boxxies for dummies. I'm not saying you're a dummy, but it would make it easier if I taught it in that manner, right? So that's what the whole point of the tutorial series is. So literally just go up to the box, suck it up. This is too early of a shape. Now this is a good shape. You kind of want it to not be like flat. You want it to be kind of like rotated in this way where it's like the lines, like not the lines itself, the lines on the back of the box, but like the edges of the box are like diagonal, you know? And you can stand on like the edge right here. I forget what these are called, like where the two corners meet, the line that connects them. But yeah, you want to be able to stand on that. You want that to kind of be like the top if possible. So get a specific shape, look to the left of the lines. And now how do you know, like a little reminder, because I did explain it but I didn't go too much in depth into it. So how do I know that I'm too far in the cycle to be looking to the left? If the box shape is looking like, if the box lines face like this tower or further left, don't look to the left of the lines, just look at directly where they are. So for this one, I do want to look to the left, or it will not launch me into the trigger. But if I have a shape where the lines look at this tower, then I won't look left. I won't make that adjustment. I'll just do what the lines tell me. That's too late in the cycle. I'm going to try and get a shape where I can't look left, or where I shouldn't look left. There we go. So this one, I'm not going to look left. Yeah. So just going to follow this like guide. So one last reminder, suck up the box. Try and get to a shape. This shape should work. Around this shape, like this is probably one of the earliest shapes you can use. Okay, that one might not work. Never mind, it did work. But yeah, basically, just if the lines look to the tower or further left, don't adjust, look directly where the lines point. But if it's a shape before that in the cycle, then you should look towards it. So on to the next boxxies. Alright, here's boxxies number 2 and 3, LDF. So these are used in pretty much every category, but depending on which one you're playing, it'll change which one you're going to do. So first I'm going to start with the variant done in NG Plus speedruns. So once you're falling down, you're going to have the suck cannon out, equip the N60, then the plasma storm. When you press triangle to get out of the ship, shoot the plasma storm to kill those annoying motherfuckers. And then swap to the N60. The box you'll use if you're playing New Game Plus is this one right here. Now I'm gonna just let you know, this is one of the more difficult boxxies in NG Plus, and the one in any percent categories is even harder than that. That is like the most inconsistent boxxy ever. I can't even promise that every attempt you're gonna see is like successful. You're gonna see me fail a couple times, and you will fail this a lot. And speaking of which, if you do fail it and you want to retry again in a run or something, or you don't have Rackman or whatever, high jump and just glide towards this for about 5 seconds and let go after about 5. I'm not gonna do the death, but yeah, you can just do that if you want to restart. So first, suck up the box, kind of point like above, like kind of right here, should work. You might suck up another box. If that happens, just like, you know, spit it out. So which frames are possible? So I'm going to teach 4 different frames of this boxxy. So you don't have the advantage you had with the Veldin boxxy. You unfortunately don't have like the same shape rotation cycle, but it's okay because you can still learn this one somewhat easily. So there are only 2 setups. This time you're not going to do a single jump, depending on which shape you get. So if you get a flat shape, so basically the frame before this one is slightly slanted, so this isn't flat. But if you get a flat shape, you're going to do a high jump, and then if you get anything else, you're going to do a double jump. So the cue for the double jump is a little less lenient than the boxxies in the previous video. And there's a chance that I fail these because my mind's going to want to like do that timing, so forgive me if I maybe don't get this every single time. Even I can't do this perfectly. So you kind of want to swap around the time the barrel of the N60 is like in this part of the animation when it's like pointing up. So now where do you look, however, and where do you stand? Where you stand on the box seems to be important. So for any shape that's not flat, stand on like this corner. I'll show you like where to stand if it is flat. I think it actually might be the same corner, but I'm not really sure. So stand on this corner right here. Then look at like this general spot where this green arch is. And you're just gonna double jump, and like sometime around this frame, that might be too early, you want to swap. Again, I'm not gonna teach pause frames because I don't think they're worth teaching, honestly. Except for one Boxxy that isn't even in this video. So. And then you're gonna hold right, and hopefully you'll make it to the end. Like I did there. When you swap, like the part of the double jump cycle can kind of determine whether you get launched more left or right. So just keep that in mind. If you suck up 2 boxes, you might still be able to make it, although I've never been able to pull it off, but I know Scotto has, so I know it is possible. But for now, this will most likely not happen. Just try and ignore it. Try and do your best to play with this if this happens. 2 boxes get sucked up. Why is my stomach making that noise? Anyways, thankfully I got the flat shape, so I can teach you what to do for this one. So stand on this corner, and now you're gonna look at this like weird thing. I'm gonna take a sip of water real quick. I actually have no idea what that sound is. I'm just gonna ignore it. So, look at this archway. And you're gonna do a high jump. And when Clank's propellers start to like kind of disappear, like around this frame, that's when you want to swap to the suck cannon. So. Holy shit, I've never, whoa, what the fuck? I've never like seen, that might actually be because of the second box. I've never had it like launch me like that. Ah shit, okay. I want the flat shape. I guess at least it gives me a chance to show off the non-flat shapes. You might also want to be careful with how much you glide. Sometimes I don't glide like at all because like I can just kind of tell that I'm going to make it to Al. So I try and be a little late if I can. A little late with the timing. I feel like that has a better chance of launching you more to the right rather than to the left. It's better to be right than left. It's not something you hear in the real world. That's at least what I've like. Right than left, because if you go to the left, if you're too far to the left, then you just have nothing to land on and you'll miss the trigger for Al. But if you're too far to the right, you can still land in a room near the end of LDF. So this is a frame later. Like this is 2 frames after flat. Jesus. But the same setup will work for the one that's 1 after flat. 1 after flat being like the next frame in the cycle of when you suck up the box. So yeah, that was a risky move right there. I really should have just hyper-striked. Again, you have to kind of gauge whether you want to glide or not. This box is really fast. Fuck off. By the way, if you suck up a wrong box, just like look up or to the right, whichever one you please, and then just spit it out. There we go. So I did say there were 4 shapes, so I'm gonna keep trying until I get like all 4 of them, and I have gotten 2 so far. Okay, here I have the flat shape again, so now let's do this properly. So stand on this corner, look up here, and then when Clank's propellers start to disappear like around here is when you want to swap. There we go. I'm gonna stand like right. I'm gonna save a position right here if I haven't already. Just in case I do hit the trigger for Al. Okay, so wait. Okay, this shape could potentially work, but if there is a setup for it, I don't know it. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna YOLO it right now because I'm curious. Yeah, no, I didn't think it would work. So I'm gonna try and show off the 4th shape. Because, well, that has a similar setup to the 2 non-flat shapes. I still want to, like, at least show it off. So, no, this is not that same shape. Hold on. Also, I'm going to be totally honest. So, you may notice that, the box sometimes, like, sucks up a little faster than in other attempts, and so as a result, like, it's a little closer to me when I get prepared to, you know, boxy. I'm not really sure why this happens. This is just something you kind of have to adapt to. Whoa, okay, yeah, you can land on the lamps, by the way. That's kind of a good thing if it happens, I guess, because, you know, it's better than being launched too far away and not making it to the end. So I'm just going to keep trying to... I'm going to try and get the 3 after flat. I want to show that one off. Because I've shown off 2 after flat. I've shown off 1 after flat. There we go. Okay. This is 3 after flat. So you can see it starts to kind of not resemble the 2 shapes that precede it, but it still kind of does. So weird. You just stand in the same corner, and this box is really fast, but you still do the same visual cue. But it's kind of hard to get. But I'm able to hit it with that same visual cue. It's just like I do struggle with it a little bit. This one I think is like 4 after flat. I don't even know if this will work. That might just be a mistiming. Ideally, besides the 4 frames, you'll never have to deal with any outside of that. If you're good at frame advancing, you should just be able to get one of the shapes that I mentioned. This is 2 after flat. I don't know why I'm showing this off when you already know what that looks like. Also, I failed it. That's even better. So, shit. Okay, you know what? I'm going to quickly pause the recording until I get the 3 after flat again. Okay, so this is once again the 3 after flat. I think... Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is 3 after flat. I'm a little out of it right now. So I'm just going to try the same setup. There we go. Whoa! So yeah, anyways. As you can see, that one was really fucking fast. That one, yeah, you really got to be prepared for it. That one you might not even want to glide. You might want to just hyper strike. I mean, you could say that for all of the shapes, really, but yeah. So at least I've shown off all of the 4 shapes now. That one will take a bit of practice, but it's at least consistent. That much I can tell you. Except for the part where you suck up the box. I don't fucking know why. Sometimes it just doesn't give me the right one. It's like 2 after flat. The important thing here is the timing. Because the timing is quite small. It is not as lenient as like the VR Boxxy, the Metro Backtrack. But you can still kind of make it work. I think that was too early. This one, even a tutorial is not going to help that much as this tutorial is more like, at least for this section, this is mostly a learn the setups tutorial. I can't even make it with this, can I? Yeah, no. Maybe Torb would know a setup for that, who knows. But yeah, this one is just a mess around with the timing like a shit ton, and you'll eventually get good. The flat shape is definitely the most desirable of the shapes, because the high jump times is good. Ideally, you won't get that. I don't know why I'm starting to get that. That's stuff that's not happened to me before in like runs ever. I've never gotten like it to send me that way. This is 1 after flat. Fucking hell. As you can see, even I'm failing it. So don't feel discouraged if you fail this one. This one is a very important one to learn, and same for the any percent variation, which I'm going to teach in a moment. The any percent variant is also super like important. That's my one bit of advice I can give to you. So I'll go over it one more time though. So suck it up. Fuck you. If it's like 1, 2, or 3 after flat, stand on the right side corner, look here, double jump, and then swap around like the time the barrel goes up. That one was just hard to time because of the fucking camera. I want to get like one more successful attempt of this before I move on to the any percent one. To me, the annoying part is honestly sucking up the box. There we go. Now on to the any percent variant. So the any percent variant is unfortunately a fucking load of dog shit. So first let me kind of how it would look. So first of all, fun fact, the model of Ratchet's shoes is different if you have already had the charge boots and you take them off. Just thought I'd ruin your fucking childhood. Anyways. So when you're out, when you have like the refractor or whatever, you want to actually pull out the shock blaster. That's all you're gonna need. So one reason that this box is notorious, this Boxxy, is because of fast box. It only ever seems to happen on the any percent variant of this. This can be used for any percent ATB, all collectibles, and 100%. Although, let me be real, no one's using this shit for 100%. Not after the fucking runs it's killed. Anyway, so and we have Ghost Ratchet in that category, thank God. So fast box is basically when the box gets sucked up way faster than it should and none of the setups work. I believe DDD has said that he has a workaround for it, but he hasn't really posted it to my knowledge, so I don't have that info. He does have what is known as the Big Book of Boxxy, which I will link in the description if I remember to do so. But to avoid fast box, to just prevent it from happening, when you get in, just suck up like these boxes. Just suck up a Gadgetron like ammo box and spit it out. Also, you're unfortunately gonna have to deal with the Tyrannoids, but they're not really gonna affect the launch that much. So with this Boxxy, there are two shapes that I find to be somewhat consistent. There are a few more that do work, and that's why I'm posting the Big Book of Boxxy, so that if you want to try and learn more shapes, you can. But I'm just going to teach you two easy ones. And I'm also going to teach you how to manipulate this box to get to those shapes. So, and let me show you what I mean. So if you're familiar with ELDF and the method people do with it, and I will make an ELDF video, that's going to be part 3, spoiler alert. You might be familiar with a trick that looks like this. You see this? I am quickly selecting the shot cannon so that it thinks I've pulled out the suck cannon, and it counts as a quick switch because of this, how you can tap triangle. But it also thinks I have the shot cannon, so the suck cannon is only out for a few frames. This is how we're going to manipulate this box into getting a shape that we want. So let's start by sucking it up. Okay, so this shape, you've hit the fucking jackpot with this shape. Once you get this shape, do the technique I just showed off, and you're gonna get the flat shape. Now, what do you do if you get the flat shape? Stand on this corner right here. Ignore these fuckers. And you want to stare at the arch. It's gonna be like the flat shape, but for the NG Plus Boxxy, and it's gonna be the same exact timing. Same exact timing. And now, the titanium bolt isn't there, but in any percent runs, you'll be able to, like, you know, you'll get good height and distance. This shape pretty much never fails for me. It's the best shape for a reason. I like the flat shape the most. But there is the one before flat, which can also help a little, so I'm going to try and get it. Huh, I got the flat shape again. I wish I could get this, like, type of skill in runs. That would be really nice. Okay, this one. Ooh, this one's risky. Okay, if you get one before flat or two after flat, I'm going to be real, you might as well give up. I've tried to use the same timing for that I use on the NG Plus box, and it doesn't really seem to work very well for me. It's really precise, so I don't really go for it. So your focus should be on, like, trying to stop it as early as possible and recognizing the possible shapes to manipulate it into the one you want. Also, I really just want to get the shape that I can manipulate into the one before flat. So I'm going to pause until I get that. Alright, I got it. So this shape, this is like the earliest frame that you can possibly get when sucking up the box. And with that, if you do the same technique you used before, now you get one before flat. So what do you do with this shape? This one is a little bit more difficult. It is not as consistent as flat, but I can still, like, make it work usually. Albeit, I don't think I've ever gotten a PB with this one, so, nah. Now, this one, instead of standing on the corner, you stand, like, on the front. You see, like, this blue line? Can you fuckers die? Thanks. Usually, I don't have to worry about them biting me. So, anyways, so, don't stand on the corners. Stand, like, between where, like, they meet. And now you're going to look at a similar, like, height. I kind of point my reticle, like, right here. and then I high jump once again, but now the timing is even more precise. Now it's kind of like right around there, I want to say. If you're too late, I believe it only gives you a crap ton of height, not a lot of distance. There we go, I got a good launch, hell yeah. So yeah, that was because I timed it like correctly, but if I had been too late, and I'm going to try and see if I can get one that's too late, so I'm going to pause once again till I get it. I'm going to try and get this one too late. I don't know if I'll be able to show it off, and I'm not going to try and waste too much time doing it. You'll know what it looks like, because if you only get height and not, like, distance, you'll be able to see a specific Tyrannoid, the one that shoots red lasers out of its arms. You'll be able to, like, see it, and you're going to kind of be able to tell Ratchet's not moving. So let me try and... Okay, that one just outright fucking failed. I'll try one more time, and if not, like, I'm not here to demonstrate, like, every failure. Like, I'm just here to demonstrate, like, every success, I guess. I don't know. I can just describe, like, the failed attempts and why they happen. Okay, that one just didn't fucking work. I'm too good at boxies. Okay, this shape. I actually want to talk about this shape. If you see this one, you clearly cannot see the sides of it. This one is kind of risky. This one's not my favorite, but I can make it work. So what you want to do with this one is you want to frame advance, and you want to be quick. You want to be really quick with it. So if you're quick enough, you'll get either the flat shape or one before flat. If you're too slow, you're going to get something after flat, and that's not good because those shapes can eat my nuts. Fucking hate those shapes. And great, I guess I didn't fucking get it anyways. I'm going to assume that was a result of fast box. I'm just going to keep sucking this up. I don't know why I don't know how fast box works, so I'm just going to assume it's the cause of those previous failed attempts. I probably should have tried to be too late on that one so I could show, you know. I know I'm kind of spending a lot of time for this particular boxy, but this is genuinely the hardest, like, boxy we have in the game. Even, like, Scotto and DDD, like, fail it a bunch. I'm going to try a successful attempt of this. Fuck, that was too late. Fuck my life. And you can see even I'm struggling with this. Like, literally nobody fucking likes this boxy. Let's see if this one... I don't think this one will work. This one did work. Yeah, flat shape's the most reliable, evidently. So I'm going to try one more time at the one before flat. Alright, I got one before flat, so I'm going to try one more time to do a successful one. This one is more inconsistent for me, but I am still able to make it work. So yeah, that mech guy, if you kind of notice that he seems to still be in front of you, kind of, then chances are, like, you are probably, like, above one of the first two rooms, and you will not be able to glide to the end. And it means that you were probably too late on the timing for swapping back to the suck-in. So again, this is just to kind of throw your head at a wall until it works, unfortunately. I'm not a fan of this boxy, and I don't think anyone is, but we don't really have any better choices at the moment. You could try doing it with the NG Plus box. I know Eli does it in all titanium bolts, and he says that it works. Yeah, actually, not right here. It's not that bad, but I've had varying results with it, especially on the not flat shapes. Like, I've gotten it a few times, and it's like, okay, yeah, it's kind of viable, kind of not. I'm gonna leave that for you to try and experiment with, rather than something I'm gonna teach, because I want to move on to the next boxy. Alright, so now we're here on Daxx. So for this one, you want the plasma whip, and also you might actually want to learn this one in third person mode. I do it in log strafe in my PB, but I think it might be good to do it in third person because sorry, I burped. The warship fight. So for this one, we're gonna suck up the top box. You can either do this by jumping like this, or by going into first person mode. Also keep in mind when you're doing this, you're probably going to have a help desk message to clear, so your first triangle input will likely get eaten. So anyways, so stand around right here, and then suck up the box. Now this is identical to Veldin Boxy. You're going to have a similar set of shapes. Also, you want the plasma whip out for this one. The visual cue for this, I shit you not, is just look where the lines point. That'll pretty much always guarantee you like you'll get to like the area we want. Now, one thing you want to be careful for is to not accidentally break these health crates, because that'll make the second boxy take a much longer time to do. Like, it will still work, I believe, but you have to do like an extra death abuse or something. I don't really remember. So just try and avoid that if you can. So I'll do this in third person. And land right here. Try to avoid landing on like these things, I think, or the fans. I'm not really sure which one it is, but it'll cause you to bounce, and you don't want that. You want to, you know. Okay, this one I'm going to do lock strafe just to be sure that it's not just, you know. This one I'm going to try and look at where the lines point. This one is slow, but at least I got it. The later shapes seem to have slower results, at least for me. I don't know how it is for Torb or Scotto or DDD. Actually, I don't know if DDD does this boxy. I think he does. The earlier shapes, I don't actually remember how these are. Okay, these are actually really good. What the fuck? Well, at least now we know what I fucking bounced on. Actually, I don't, because I wasn't paying attention. Like, I just saw that I bounced, but I couldn't fucking see. I'm not going too much in depth on this one, because this is literally just Veldin boxy. But, like... Oh, wait. God damn it. Ah, shit. Okay, let me reload the damn file. God fucking damn it. Alright, so we're back on that. So as I was saying, the reason I'm not going like too much in depth on this one is because this is basically just Veldin boxy, but now with the plasma whip, and now for this one you don't have to look left or right, you just look directly where the lines are pointing. I sometimes get like, I won't lie, I don't know why sometimes it doesn't take me to the platform. Also, fuck, I have to reload the stupid file. I didn't even realize I was... I'll finish my spiel while I wait for this to reload. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't take me to like the platform. I think it has to do with when in the jump I swap to the suck cannon. So you're gonna have to just, for that one, you're just gonna have to adapt it. First of all, let's fucking save a position. Right here. For that one, you're just gonna have to like adapt and like kind of see like, okay, what's the closest platform that I can go to? And then, you know. So I'll do this one again in third person, just because I feel like a lot of people might want to learn this in third person, so I should probably... There we go. If you get this, by the way, and you don't want to touch the Courtney cutscene, because that would be slow technically, you could probably just do a whip hyper strike. Hell yeah, baby. Woo! Fucking goated. Okay. Also, make sure that while you're being launched, like the second you get launched, you spit out the box. Like right there, as I got launched, I made sure to spit out the box. This is just terrible. That was just a terrible launch. I'm gonna go to lock strafe just to do this. I'm trying to think. I fucking double jumped. I'm not even mad about that, honestly. This shape is way too early in the cycle, so I'm going to manipulate it to be to a later shape. Again, you're not going to learn every shape. You're not going to be able to just learn every shape like instantly, so it's better you learn a couple, like a simple visual cue, and just apply it no matter like what shape you get. And if it doesn't work, then, well, you now know a shape that's incompatible. And if it does work, then congrats, the cue worked for you. But with so many, like, different possible shapes, I'm not teaching, like, every single possible shape. I'm not gonna be like, okay, with this, you know. Let's do this one more time. Let's see if I can get a launch that'll... I find that the earlier shapes seem to be more likely to take me to the warship arena. I guess if you wanted to, you could maybe try looking more like left or right, depending on which shape in the cycle you get. But the reason why I don't really advise to do this is because I think that's just going to be too much for a new runner. I think that's just going to be too overwhelming, and I don't want you to be overwhelmed. The whole purpose of this tutorial series is so that anyone can learn boxies. I don't want you like thinking like, okay, I want to try and make this somewhat simple. So that's why I'm not going to like talk about like which shapes you might want to adapt your setup for. For this boxy, I literally just advise to just look where the lines point, and if you get a, you know, if you get to the arena, great, time save. If not, that's fine. It's free time save for later. Also, if you land here, by the way, and the warship spawns here, turn around. You don't want to break these health crates. You want to be able to do the next boxy as well. Speaking of the next boxy, this is the next one I'm going to teach. It is going to be Metropolis boxy. So, I forgot to mention the previous boxy is only important if you're in no QE. And there is a version that works in any percent. It has the same exact visual cues and whatnot, but it's a very different box. I don't think most any percent runners, like newcomers, are going to worry about that though, because, yeah. Anyway, so, onto Metropolis. This boxy is done in any category that visits Metropolis. However, there is one notable difference. So, if you're using the no QE save file, or you're in any percent, the box you're going to use, so first turn around, and by the way, if you're in NG+, and you have the Map-O-Matic, you should press triangle. Maybe you still have to press triangle without the Map-O-Matic, I don't really know. Anyway, so, you're going to use this box right here. You also want the shot cannon as your weapon. But, if you're in all titanium bolts, all collectibles, or 100%, the way the route goes is you come over here, you go over there, and you get the titanium bolt, then you die. This box will have changed rotation. So, to kind of show it, this is the rotation right now. You see, I can get this shape easily. However, I'm going to show you. So one of these boxes, and you're probably going to end up breaking it on your quest to get this titanium bolt. Let's just say I got the titanium bolt, and I'm going to die. If you turn around, also I recommend being in lock strafe for this. You can swap while you're charging from the Phoenix, or if you're in a category that gets the bolt, you can do it as you're dying, or if you do the anime cancel, just do it afterwards. Anyway, so now if I suck up this box, actually I am getting the right shapes. What the hell? Usually this doesn't happen though. Usually, no. You'll have to use this one in all titanium bolts, all collectibles, etc. And the setups will be the exact same. So anyway, so I reloaded the file just to make sure that this box wasn't tampered with. So this boxy, again, you can use it for all titanium bolts, all collectibles, and hundo. Just use this box, but copy the setups. All the setups are applicable. So yeah. So anyways, you're going to suck up the box, and you might notice by now, this has similar rotations to Veldin and Daxx boxy. So with Veldin, you want it to look to the left of the lines, depending. For Daxx, you want it to look straight where the lines were looking. For this one, you actually want to look kind of to the right of where they're looking at. Well, actually, not for that shape. Not for that shape. I probably should have mentioned that. So, usually though, the shape that you do get, you want to look to the right of it. To the right of where the lines point. Like here. You want to look really far to the right. Kind of this way. And it should take you to either the courtyard or the train. Oh shit, okay. Where am I? Okay, thank God. Thank God for my past self being able to do this. Anyway, so if it is looking, if the lines are pointing like this way, then don't look to the right of the lines, just look directly where they are at. It's kind of like an inverse of Veldin boxy. In fact, I know a runner that actually reset, because since this is such a similar one to that, they thought they were doing Veldin boxy. So they messed it up, they messed it up, and then they reset, because in their head this is just Veldin boxy. So yeah, for this one, I'm just gonna look where the lines point. Okay, fuck my life, I guess that was actually not too early in the cycle, but I do promise you there are shapes where you want to look like not too far to the right at least. There we fucking go. Jesus, I don't have like the ton of fucking, I just want to fucking move on, dude. Holy shit. Okay, this one is gotta be like This one you probably just look slightly to the right. Yeah. Oh, you can also land on that building, by the way. I usually hyper strike onto it and it doesn't bounce me at all. That's how I make sure I don't end up bouncing. I didn't do that there because I was too busy explaining. But here, I'll try and land on it. Okay, that actually hasn't happened to me before. I'm getting a lot of shit that hasn't happened to me before in this vid, and that's not good because I don't want to waste your guys' time with, you know. Okay, there we go. Yeah, if you kind of land around like right here to top, you will not bounce. And then you can just charge the Clank. Also, I heavily advise you do this, Boxxy, because you're probably also going to want to learn to backtrack Boxxy since it's really easy. And if you don't do this Boxxy, if you decide to use charge boot movement to go through the level, but you decide to do the backtrack Boxxy, it will most likely not work, or even worse, you can actually hard lock the fucking game. And you absolutely don't want to do that. Oh shit. Well, fucking... I was scared. I was like, wait, did I fuck something up? Why is it not? So yeah, looking to the right of the lines is going to help you. That's your visual cue for this one. This one I might not look too far to the right. Yeah, okay, good to know. Let's keep trying. This one, when you're frame advancing, you might want to give a little bit of space in between your triangle presses. And what I mean by that is so you don't waste too much time doing like this and then this. I kind of like to space out my triangle presses so that I know like right here, I'm not gonna like instantly mash triangle. I'm gonna like give just like a fraction of a second for it to manip shape, and then that's when I do the super fast triangle mashes. Try, if you're new to this, it's better to try and land in the courtyard than it is to try and land in on the train. Yeah, if you get to a higher level or you think you can do it, then yeah, go ahead and try and land on the train. But like, as a beginner, try and focus on getting to the courtyard instead. That was not right enough, but it's okay because I still made it. Okay, we're almost done here. Woohoo. Alright, so this is Koros Boxxy, so I just need to like straight up admit, the save file that is in resources for New Game Plus No QE is going to use a different box than the one that you would use if you were running a New Game Plus or any percent. So if you're running New Game Plus or any percent, or all collectibles or 100%, all titanium bolts is the only category where you don't want to do this. I should also mention this Boxxy will probably not work if you have the V5 suck cannon, so if you're playing all collectibles or 100% and you ended up leveling it up to V5 because of the one skill point on crash site, then yeah, don't even worry about this Boxxy. So, good reason to practice that skill point though. So if you're playing any percent or New Game Plus or any of the other categories that I mentioned, basically not no QE, you can just take a step to the left and then just suck up this box right here and it will have the correct rotations. Or you can use the top of this stack right here. If you make your own no QE file and it has that rotation, great. Although I don't think it's actually possible to get it like on a no QE file without Rackman. But that's my own like personal like revelation. I'm pretty sure it's like not possible because of like the way the breaking boxes affects the rotation. So if you're no QE, what can you do? Well, there is the middle box of the stack. By the way, you want shot cannon for this. So when you spawn in, just turn this way and suck up. Holy shit. And boom. Now with this one, it is once again like Daxx Boxxy, the first Daxx Boxxy, because there are two on that one. The backtrack one, or whatever we call it. The Veldin Boxxy, the Metro Boxxy, it has the same rotation cycle, as you can see right here. So this one, your visual cue is basically, look at the big fucking gun. And what I mean by that, look at the big fucking gun, is if the lines point this way, then face a little to the right. If the lines point towards the gun, then you don't really need to adjust much. Like right here, you see? I didn't have to adjust at all. Kill me. There we go. There we go. Okay, cool. So here the lines are pointing like this way, away from the big fucking gun. So I'm gonna look a little right. That was actually too far right, but it still worked. I still landed inside. Wait, what the fuck? I'm actually in the... Holy shit. I didn't think I was. Anyways. There we go. Now this one, I'm just gonna look a little to the right. Sick. Keep in mind, it is very possible to bounce on like stuff in here. I think it's the computers that cause it. I'm not really sure. If that happens and you respawn, like chances are you might just want to reload the file. The game will autosave, so you'll be good. Chances are you're gonna have to just reload, but you might be able to respawn from a checkpoint and glide back in. Who really knows? So right here, I'm gonna look a lot further to the right. Ooh. Okay, I think this box works too, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, it does. I never knew that. I've never actually tested this one out. Oh, and you can see I bounced on something, but this saved me. Thank fucking God for this. I've never seen those textures before. I didn't know they were on the other side. This one is probably one of the trickiest boxies because of the bounce that you risk doing. The shapes, though, is basically just like the same as, you know, the shape rotation is the same, so you can kind of once again do the tried and true method of using the lines on the box. So again, if you are playing New Game Plus with the community made save file, if you are playing any percent, all collectibles, or 100%, you can also use the stack, the one on top of here or the one underneath the explosive crate. But if you're playing no QE with the community save file, then you can use the one in the middle or the one on the bottom. The community no QE save file that I made doesn't really lose time. It's just you have to learn a slightly different setup. I've tried changing it to make it more consistent with the other categories, but I've not been able to get good results. I thought I did, but it turns out I was wrong. So unfortunate, but you know, it happens. It's not a big deal. I wonder if this could be optimal for... I don't think this could be optimal for ATB. Oh shit. Maybe. Sorry, I'm having my own revelations right now. This one is really far in the cycle, so I think if I look this way, it should work. Yeah. And once again, if you don't think that you're gonna make it towards like the end checkpoint, like... Here, let me show it. With this one, I'm confident that I'll make it to the end. I can literally use this giant metal bar to like kind of guide myself. If you think you are not on course, you can try and hyperstrike to end the box yeet a little earlier. I feel like Scotto when I say that. That is a valid option. It's totally 100% valid. And then just on the inside, just kind of adjust where you're moving from. So I do hope to make a no QE tutorial at some point, and I'll kind of explain like backing it up a little further if that ever happens. So you could do this Boxxy, by the way, in third person if you want, but I don't really do it because there's such a limited amount of time to, like, you know, kind of there's such a limited amount of time to just adjust where you're going, and it's like too risky in my opinion. Like, I want to be able to see where I'm going the whole time. And now onto the final Boxxy. This one I'm kind of not looking forward to teaching. Alright, so this is the big one. So I'm just going to put a little disclaimer that this is probably not going to be that great of a guide, because even I'm not that good at CC Boxxy. I did get slightly consistent at it, but even I struggle with it. But I think a lot of people would say to just kind of give my own like pointers, my own like methods of trying to do it. So I'll try my best to teach you, but don't be too surprised if this isn't like, you know, as, you know, as good as the other boxies that I taught. So the first thing to note, as soon as you spawn in, you are on a cycle. These guys right here, they walk around in a cycle. So if you're going to practice this, I recommend setting aside a file in Rackman and then just loading that every time. And when you spawn in, the instant you spawn in, you want to just like get ready to like kill these guys. So jump and go in a semicircle the way you saw me do. I recommend jumping, at least Torb recommends it, because it's less likely that the big Tyrannoid lands on this stack of crates. You do not want that to happen. Now, I actually do not remember which boxes are viable for this. I just know that the top one should be viable for it. And unfortunately, it's not going to be the same rotation as the previous boxies. It's not going to be the same rotation as like Veldin and Metropolis and all that. That's what makes this like kind of a pain in the ass. But you can still kind of use the lines on it. So I know this top box should work, I believe. Does it? Hold on. Okay, actually, I'm going to pause this and I'm just going to look at this one video that I made for myself. Alright, so I rewatched my old video. Also, I'm going to swap to this because I feel like most runners might not. Why does this still have the fucking green armor? What? I have no idea why my save files refuse to swap to the Alpha Combat Suit. Anyways, that's a thing for another day. So, this part of the shape cycle. Oh my god, I'm fucking out of it. I've been doing this for like a fucking hour or whatever. Anyways. So, this is to kind of describe the shape you want. Basically. Or to like look. So, there's these two like edges of the box. I like to stand behind where they meet. And then for the queue, I've seen a few different like visual like not queue but like jump methods. I think I've seen some people do it single jump. I think some people like previously got on the box and did a double jump off it. What Torb would probably say is to Torb would probably tell you to stand behind here, do a double jump, and then move forward as you do the double jump and you're ready to swap. So it looks something like this. And I fucking got it. If I had glided, I would have made that probably. So once the box is kind of around like this part of the ground, that's when you kind of want to look at it and think like, okay, is it in like a shape that works? I'll put the big book of Boxxy in the description so you can look at all the shapes, but basically, if it kind of looks something like this, where this like side is kind of looking towards Ratchet, and you can see these bottom two edges, then you're probably in like the right spot. Again, I think it's better you just refer to the big book of Boxxy from King DDD for this one. Now for the lines. So once again, you can use the lines, it's just a little different. So the lines on this edge of the box, the one that I'm standing on, are what I use for sorry, I just saw something that made me kind of laugh. Anyway, so depending on where the lines point, you kind of, I believe you want to look a little to the right of them. Unless the lines point here, like around this tower, then in that case you probably just want to look where they're pointing at. So, or no, I think you want to point to the right. Never mind, no, I guess I was fucking right. I guess you maybe look a little to the right. I don't know, hold on. Let me fucking watch this again. Alright, so I watched my video again, and yeah, I was right. Depending on like, if it's later in the cycle, then yeah, don't, Also, I recommend like having the circle button already ready to go so that you don't accidentally break the crate that you want. Now, you could do lock strafe for this, and that's probably what I'm going to do when I implement this into runs. This is... Jesus Christ, okay. But you're going to want to swap back to third person before you hit the trigger. Now, of course, you can just do that as you land on Nefarious, and chances are you're most likely going to do the nano pack strat, so you'll definitely have plenty of time to swap. You'll just be able to swap when you're doing like the first death abuse to set it up. But yeah, that's something you want to keep in mind. I'm probably going to do this in lock strafe, so I don't know why that one failed, if I'm being real. Like I said, this is in my opinion the most difficult boxy in the game. It's the only one that like I couldn't do for a while, and it's the only one that's not on my no QEPB as of the time I'm making this video, although who knows, maybe I'll get a new PB with it. I hope I do eventually. But this box is kind of a pain in the ass for me. I have no idea what I'm looking at here. I genuinely have no fucking clue what I was looking at there, like with that shape. I'm so fucking done talking about boxes, you guys. Okay, let's do this one more time. I'm gonna swap to lock strafe. So again, stand behind like the corner where these two edges meet. Look at the lines. If they're pointing towards the tower, you might not want to look to the right. If they aren't, if the lines are pointing like this way, then you might want to look a little more to the right. The big book of Boxxy will have more details. Then stand behind the box, double jump, and when you're like moving forward, you got to move forward as you do the double jump, and then swap. So again, the double jump is closer to the timing of like, I want to say the LDF Boxxy. So I think this should work. And boom. So this might be the only boxy that I don't recommend if you're a beginner. You could try it if you want, but if you struggle with it a lot, that's to be expected. I really hope this tutorial was useful to you, because I've spent like an hour and a half now like doing this. Obviously the video is only an hour long, but that's because I was like also kind of looking back at my old videos and studying and shit and whatnot. I'm really fucking tired. If this helps even one person, I'll feel happy. But yeah, this is part 2 of the Boxxy tutorial series, and I'll see you for the final part where I talk about how to do ELDF. And any questions, you can contact me on Discord, the Sag Bean. You can ask in the comments, or you can ask in the Ratchet and Clank Discord, or on my stream. I'm fucking tired, man. I need to go to bed.